And joining us for more discussion on the incident is a global affairs analyst, Deba Wadiai. Good to have you join us, Deba Wadiai. This is an all too familiar situation in the United States when you think of Richard Brooks, Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner, George Floyd, Michael Brown. It's just a very familiar tragedy.
Yeah, it's because it's becoming it's a familiar tragedy, and also is becoming embarrassing, especially in recent times. We expect that things that have been happening, all the technology that have been introduced, like the use of camera by police, and also the fact that people have their own camera in their phones, one would have thought that things like this would have been reduced. However, it's still happening. It just shows that there are people that really don't understand, the kind of reform that is being expected, in the police. With what happened yesterday, it just showed that we still have people in the police force here in the United States that are really not learning, and also knowing that it is a society that you have, people from different diversity, and that everybody is supposed to have, some kind of dignity, and respect in terms of relationship. There was no justification for that shooting, though I was not. We've not gotten the video out, but I don't think if somebody is running away, the person should be shot.
And in every situation, anyway, the very first duty of any law enforcement agent is de-escalation and not escalation. So what do you think is at the heart of this kind of aggression coming from some law enforcement agents, not every one of them?
Yeah, like I said, you have people in the police force that have their implicit bias and also their explicit bias. That is why a lot of training, we need to be done, especially to address this. I remember last year I asked the governor of Ohio State why it is like that. And he said the same thing. People have their biases, and that is why there must be education. There are people that just feel that somebody of my kind of race is dangerous and should be dealt with, even without the law. Whereas they are not supposed to take the laws into their hands, even though they are police enforcement people. They are not supposed to take the law. But when somebody decides to take the law should also expect the person to be accountable. The problem we've had, prior to this time, is that police have always been getting away with things like this.
Absolutely. It's quite interesting that you pointed that out, because I was going to go there. And I want to link that to another video we just surfaced in the U.S. as well. It happened in December, and I think it's in Windsor County in Virginia, where two police officers pepper sprayed an army medic. He was in his uniform. And when you look at that, when you get to the end of that video, you will hear one of the officers saying, if you want to press charges, you can go ahead, but my life, and I'm paraphrasing, my life wouldn't change either ways. So it does look like, look, they have this feeling that whatever you do, I can get away with this.
Yes, they've always been protected. There are these laws that that protect them. However, the Maryland State, for example, has taken a bold step to set up the Police Accountability Act, which is a big leap into that area. And some cities have started Like here in Columbus, Ohio, there is the police review board, that we also allow police to be accountable when things like this happen. It's true that it's happening. You have police people in the police force that are bad eggs. But honestly, the police is doing very well in so many areas. But you have the bad eggs that are messing up, that body, and that those are the people that the police itself should start addressing, so that there will be, a better image for the police here in the United States. It's so bad. I've been stopped once by, police while, over speeding, and immediately he asked me. He said, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And if you look at the case in Virginia, the guy was asking, "What did I do?" He has a right. He has the First Amendment right, to free speech, to ask, and also he has the Fourth Amendment right, and so, but he was treated, like he was immaterial, and that was what happened. Unfortunately, he was disgraced, he was humiliated. But now the two men are paying for it. One of them has been fired, and I know it's not just going to end like that.
Let's also quickly state, sorry I interrupted you, but let's also quickly state that the police have also been on the receiving end. We saw what happened during the insurrection, and as we speak, some police officers have been shot in Georgia. So they have also had level of attacks on them. But let's focus on Daunte Wright. This is happening at a time where the Derek Chauvin trial is ongoing in Minneapolis over the death of George Floyd. What does this say? What kind of message does this put across?
Unfortunately, it's going to kind of, bring more focus on the trial that is going on, of Chauvin. It's just that it's going to kind of, affect the transaction of the trial. Fortunately for him, the police, like I said, is really being messed up by people like this, by people that are not considerate. We know that it's also a dangerous profession, especially here in the United States, where everybody that is an adult and can purchase a gun, even in the store. So it's people like these that are making the police to look bad. But I believe that with the reform that is going on, it has started. It's going to be, I believe, it's going to be a whirlwind. It's going to go through all the states. It has started, and so we should expect this kind of reform going forward. And the good thing about it is this camera that police are expected to put on, and that is helping a lot. And the fact that some of this that happen during the day always have witnesses that record with their own camera. That is also helping.
Right. So I want to quickly take a statement made by the Brooklyn Center Mayor Mike Elliott, and he says, "Our hearts are with his family. We're going to make sure that everything is done in our power to ensure justice." When you look at the case of George Floyd, when you look at the case of Breonna Taylor, and all of these other cases that we've seen of African Americans who have died, in the hands of law enforcement agents, what does justice mean now?
Yeah, justice this time will mean that not just the state or the city pay to assuage the families of those that have been, unjustifiably been, killed or maltreated, but that the person involved, the officers or whoever is involved, is held accountable, because a lot of times you find a situation where, okay, the state comes in, the city comes in, they pay, the family of whoever, is injured, or the family of whoever is affected, and the person still goes scot-free. This time there should be complete justice. The city is taking care, where the person's right, had been, trampled upon. While the officer involved too, should also be held accountable. So at that time, you will see complete justice being done.
Hopefully, justice is done in the real terms of justice. Global Affairs analyst Deborah Wadiai, thanks for always talking to us.
Thank you very much.